As the Salt Lake City Police Department cracks down on crime, evidence piles up. So where do they keep it all?
ABC 4's Brian Carlson takes us into the evidence locker in tonight's Behind the Badge report.
When police are holding on to thousands upon thousands of evidence they've collected for roughly 60 years, you expect to see a few interesting things in there. That is, if you can find them.
Inside the Salt Lake Police Evidence Warehouse, officers are accumulating a large crime collection.
All the brown boxes that you see are general evidence.
Evidence technician Kimberly Crispin is the police custodian who for nearly 17 years has overseen the rows and rows of endless boxes and bags filled with items saved from decades of crime.
Over 200,000 items of evidence in our warehouse right now. They circle around.
Some evidence here going back as far as the 1960s, taken for murders, thefts, sexual crimes, drug busts, and more. Currently housed inside roughly 250 bikes, 300 cases involving cash, scores of clothes, tools, items to do drugs.
We must have 2 people to go into our drug room.
And in the last year alone, 570 guns.
That feels like a lot.
It's overwhelming.
When you walk through here, you find any number of random things. A Huggies box full of sex magazines, someone's Kevlar vest, and a big fish made out of Louisiana license plates. If you could think of it, they've probably seen it here. What's the oddest thing you've ever seen?
The oddest thing was this handful of sunflower seeds collected from the scene of a burglary. They were uneaten sunflower seeds left on the table by the suspect. But I really don't understand the evidentiary properties of a handful of sunflower seeds.
Like why someone would hold on to those?
Don't know.
For what Crispin does know of what's inside these aisles, most of it remains a mystery.
We cannot just go into a report and read what's going on with a case. So when we receive items, most of it's packaged in a way that we cannot see what the items are.
Officers first bring evidence into the packaging room. Then it's bagged up and filed away until its court case is closed. But for items too big to fit in packaging, you can guess the crime.
This is an interesting one. What is this right here?
So part of the interesting part of our job is a lot of times we see the items, we don't always know the story behind them. So the best that I can give you on that is basement gambling is not allowed.
So this is a gambling machine.
There's gambling machines. We have a few others in other places.
Likely the warehouse's most famous piece of evidence was seen by the entire world in the 2002 Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City.
That's a piece of the Olympic arch.
From 2002?
Mm-hmm. When the Olympic arch was taken down from the U of U football stadium, it was stored at City Impound Lot. Apparently at some point, some people had tried to break into the lot and were attempting to steal beams from the arch, and that was one of the items that was recovered.
The possibilities of what's contained here could be endless. Police say, according to policy, anything they recover at a crime has to go into evidence.
It could be a single dime that somebody says, this dime isn't mine, I didn't leave any change in my car. We have to book it into evidence.
From filing cabinets to boxes stacked nearly 20 feet high. Since Salt Lake Police moved into this space in 2015, they now have room to store whatever officers find at the scene. The only thing that surprises Crispin about what's here is how much is here.
The volume. I think the volume more than anything else.
And these aisles are where all of it lives until police consider each case closed.
So once a case gets closed, the evidence either gets returned to the owner, tossed out, or donated. So if you have something that's part of a case, they say your best chance at getting it back is knowing the serial number of the thing you want returned. You have no idea how many things like bikes, tools, or electronics go unclaimed because the owner just doesn't have a serial number. Back to you.
All right, that is just fascinating
Yes,
to see
it
all that
is.
evidence.
I had no idea.
Yeah. All right. Now to a traffic alert. UDOT trying out a new method to keep drivers safe during snowstorms.
Yeah, crews are installing what's called heat tape on traffic signals. Well, the tape works to melt off any snow or ice on a signal light so drivers can see when it's time for them to go, slow down, or stop. UDOT saying buildup on traffic lights has become more of a problem recently since changing to LED lights.
You know, it doesn't sound like a big deal, but if you're in one of those storms and you're entering an intersection and you can't see the lights, that's a big problem.
UDOT saying it already put this tape on more than 450 light signals, and crews will continue installing them at intersections that tend to get packed with snow.
Time now for Utah's most accurate forecast with Alana Brophy. Weather rates certified 11 years in a row.
And Alana, sounds like that might come in handy for tomorrow's evening commute.
Yeah, that snow's coming in again.
Definitely, and I thought maybe I could borrow some and put it in southern Utah, because by the end of the 7-day, they actually get pretty warm. So there's some heat there. I know Glenn gets pretty excited when the warmth starts to make a return. Live view from the Cedar City area. So pretty. 45 degrees right now in Iron County. Clear skies, plenty of sunshine. We're also seeing that in the north with the cloud cover over the mountains. It's 40 degrees in Salt Lake, but it doesn't feel that way. With the wind, it makes it feel a little chillier. We've got to talk about snow, okay? Because we've got more coming, but take a look at the last several years. We have more snow in Salt Lake City. We've accumulated 60 inches this season for the winter season, 60.6, and that is more since 2016. So a very healthy winter, not a surprise. And we're going to add to that thanks to this system, which sends a series of disturbances our way. As we head into tomorrow, we're going to get snow potential, but right now, clear skies out there in northern, central, and southern Utah. But look at that increasing cloud cover. It's like knocking on the door. Can I come in? And the answer is yes. We're going to see that in the next several hours. Temperatures dropping to the freezing point by 8 p.m., getting cold at 9, but we will be below freezing. But we won't be as cold as we've been due to that cloud cover that's going to increase. We're tracking the snow because, yes, the potential is there for the northern half of the state. This evening, it's chilly, but we're dry. Notice that cloud cover moving into the northwest portion of Utah with some snow showers possible as we head into the early morning hours tomorrow. Nothing expected for the commute, but we do get some showery precip that starts to move in by the afternoon. By 2, 3 o'clock, you're going to notice the difference in the northern half of the state. This front comes through and it brings cold air, gusty conditions, and the chance of a burst of snow, a snow squall not out of the question, which means if you're commuting during this time between 5 and 7, there's a chance you could run into some dropping visibility and accumulating snow. And as you take a look, that's for the southern Wasatch Front and into Utah County. Now, wherever this band of heavier snow sets up, that's where we're going to see the higher accumulations. As that kind of moves through, we do see additional snowfall around 8 p.m. for northern Utah, so Cache, Weber, Davis counties, that's when you'll get snow. By Thursday, high pressure comes back. It's a quick moving storm, not major impacts, but because it happens during that commute time, there's potential. How much is coming? Great question. Valleys could see anywhere from a trace to 3 inches. Now, where that band sets up, they'll be on the higher end of that, 1 to 4 on the benches. Mountain valleys, 2 to 6, 3 to 8 up in the high country. Okay, a little more snow for the mountains. Central mountains could get 1 to 4, but that's kind of where we drop off when it comes to precip. So today we saw moderate danger for avalanche in the north, considerable for the Wasatch and western Uintas. That could go up wherever we see the heavier snowfall into tomorrow. So keep that in mind if you're going to be recreating. 30s and low 40s in Provo. We've got some 50s down there in Moab, 40s in Cedar City, and 60 in St. George. Well, that sounds pleasant. Let's keep it going. We climb the temperature ladder in Washington County for the next several days. Unsettled for the weekend with the chance of some wet weather. And that storm is actually a warmer one. So it brings a valley rain, mountain snow setup to the north, and then straight rain potential for Saturday. Well, that seems more like a spring storm, but don't be too excited because tomorrow we still get that taste of winter. Temperatures do jump though. We've got some upper 40s, low 50s. 53 is typically where Salt Lake is this time of year, so we'll be closer to that for the latter half of the 7-day. Nice.
Looking good.
Nice. Yes, one day at 39, the rest 40s and 50s. This is an exciting change.
The time is coming, folks.
It's coming.
Okay, thank you so much, Alana. We appreciate it.